All right. Hi, everybody. How you doing? I'm Johann. This is Charleston. On today's show, episode number 9, Better with Age, we have local boy, one of the only Canadian umpires in the Major League of Baseball, Stu Scheurwater. Stu, how you doing today?
Good, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on.
I think as soon as we saw you, both Charleston and I noticed, we go, nice stash. That's a beauty.
No, man. It's like he perfectly shaved that thing right before he got on.
No, this is the last day of spring training when we let go, like in March. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to shave my mustache until I go back to work. And then COVID was taking over, and I was like, first line of defense right here, the COVID stash. You know, I got to keep all those germs away. So this is probably in the science world, it's probably the exact opposite. They probably get tangled in there, and it's probably actually worse for me. But I believe.
So this is like part of the persona that umpires have, then, right?
Yeah, that's it. You know, that's what I'm thinking. I may even keep this for season if they'll let me. I don't know. I'll have to look into that.
Well, you're telling me there's some kind of facial, or what are you guys, the Yankees of the Major League, that you guys have a facial hair policy that you can't?
Well, there is. You be clean cut and
really,
clean shaven for sure. Yeah, no, it's very. I'd say almost very military like. Just kind of. We can't have. There's a few guys with some long hair, a little bit sticks out of their hat, but it's always been kind of a clean shaven, kind of clean cut kind of profession for sure.
Wow. I thought you can't be rocking the mullet and the stash and coming out.
Right. Yeah. Maybe some sweet chops or something. Yeah. That's always.
Has it always been like that?
Yeah. It really has. And it's kind of, baseball's a big traditional game, and that's always kind of been with the old guys. And, again, in the, everything gets kind of relaxed a little bit, but there's some guys with a little bit of facial hair. But yeah, there's in our manual there's some it's kind of a written thing saying that it needs to be kind of clean cut, clean shaven.
That's awesome. So yeah, let's get into that, Stu. How the hell, if you read some of the articles on the later post, you can kind of go back into your history. But how does it feel? Are you still the only Canadian umpire in the major leagues?
Yeah. There's only been 3 of us. Jim McKean was the most recent one. He was, I think his last year was 2001, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's only been 3 of us. Another one was a Rungie that was born in Canada, but lived in America. But yeah, so there's only been 3 of us born Canadians in the major leagues right now, and I'm definitely fortunate enough to be where I'm at for sure.
Awesome. And you're a Regina boy to boot, eh? That you grew up in Regina. You're a former, I think the first time I met you I was a beer sponsor for Great Western, and you were on the Regina Thunder.
Yeah, the good old days when just after high school, plugging away the Regina Thunder Junior. It was awesome. There was some good days, some good bus trips, some good times.
Regina Thunder, you play football?
Oh, come on. Did I play football? I could show you a dirty spin move. I played defensive line, so if you need me to show you a couple of things, I definitely could take you out back.
Oh, so we got a defensive lineman on here. What was your favorite pass rush move?
Oh, I was more of a kind of. I'm so nimble on my feet, as you probably seen me. No, yeah. But I was more of a kind of a rip kind of guy, like try to stay low and a little bull rush a little bit. And but no, that's. I honestly wasn't that great. I didn't play a lot once I got to high school. And let me tell you a little story how great I really wasn't. But so we had a bunch of guys on the Thunder getting hurt, all our linemen getting hurt. So all right, let's take the defensive lineman and let's get some tryouts. And we took one of our best defensive linemen, and I'm lined up at left tackle, and I know what his move was. He's just a straight bull rush guy, so I end up popping him first, and they're like, "Oh, sweet, you're going to start this next game at left tackle." I was like, "What?" So yeah, I started at left tackle out of nowhere. My quarterback must have been crapping his pants. He's like, "Really, this guy left tackle?" He's no shot.
What year was that, Stewie? You were back in the Thunder on what years? Who was your coach?
I graduated high school in 01, so it would have been right after high school. So 2, 3, 4, I believe I played.
Randy Shaw would have been your coach.
Yeah,
right?
Randy Shaw was our leader back then, and those are the days. We had Heberts, Mackey's, Cablas brothers,
Wilson,
Ryan Anderson, Wilson. Yeah, those are we were right in we had a fun group of dudes, so we had a blast.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I remember those days because I was at the clubhouse. That was my first few years in Regina, and when I started as a beer rep, I was like, I got to get a group of younger sports teams, and I went after the Thunder, and I said, this would be a perfect group of young guys to
Yeah, you picked the right guys.
to corrupt them and get them drinking. So
we're not super athletes, as you can tell. We're not many of us are playing anymore. So
so then you go from playing football to the major leagues, or obviously there's lots of steps in between, but so you're sitting there, you're playing football, you're trying to decide what to do, you're doing umpiring on the side in the summertime too, obviously. How do you get from Regina Thunder players to offensive defensive linemen Stu Scheurwater to then to the major leagues?
Well, first I had to look at myself in the mirror and say them football career is going nowhere, so I didn't decide to do that, but they did overlap a little bit. But that was one thing that I needed to make my decision of, was going to keep playing football or keep trying to play football. But then umpiring, I was like, you know what, I'd probably a better shot with that. So I actually signed up to go down to school, the Harry Windelstead Umpire School. In worst case scenario, I always enjoyed umpired while I was playing football. So it just kind of would have been a good experience and give it a shot to try to go professional. So that was kind of what I did. Signed up, went down one January to Daytona Beach and spent a January there at umpire school. And and then went through all the rings of the ladder and kind of made my way up to the minor leagues from there.
What is the graduation process? Is it like 200 people come into umpire school and only 10 of us make it out? Like what's the process?
Yeah, you're damn close right there. My year was a little bit different year because there was right after, I guess the year before, there was a minor league strike where a lot of guys just found different jobs because they were minor league, you don't make any money. So the longer you strike, the less money you're going to make. So guys found careers elsewhere. But so, we had about 200 in our class. And then what we do is the top 25 in our class meet up with the top 25 from a different school. And then, so we had 50 at our, almost like a evaluation course at the minor league instructors or supervisors would watch us. And from there you'd go, the best of the best get picked. Then if they needed 10 jobs, they rank everybody from 1 to 50, and then number 1 gets to go. When the job opens up after 10, you're on the waiting list, and then like that way, like exactly what you're saying. So this skim pickings, I guess, but yeah.
Good for you. I mean, and what were the days like back in the day? I know that I read that you were doing like spring leagues, you were doing A ball, right? You were doing B, double A then, and life on the road for an umpire. Tell me a little bit about that, because we only hear the stuff about the ball players, right? Traveling on the bus, the long trips, things like that. What was it like as an umpire? Are you doing the same thing? You guys jumping in a car and going from city to city?
Yeah, we had sweet Dodge Caravans most of the time. I made sure we had the captain seats in the back. I wanted the classier Dodge Caravan.
Yeah.
The Grand, I think it was the Grand Caravan. So, yeah.
Eight-seater.
Yeah. Always had to make sure we had like the suicide doors. You push the button and the back door is open. Then we made it classy for sure. But yeah, the route is exactly the same as the players. Yeah, you start in the lower minor leagues, A ball. You have to go through, like for us, we have to touch every stage. So there's 4 levels of A ball. There's double A, triple A. Usually when you're in double A, you're in there from 2 to 3 years. Triple A, you're about 2 to 3 years. And then you get you get your look once you get to triple A.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so for us, we had to hit every level, and then once we get to every level, you can work your way up. But yeah, it's a tough grind. We were in, like you're saying, these minivans, but we're in the Texas League where we'd have a team in Corpus Christi, then we have to get up to Springfield, Missouri. It's only like a 16-hour drive. We did extra innings in Corpus Christi. We're not done until like 11 or 12. We had an evaluation afterwards. Now we drive 16 hours and get to a game for 7 o'clock in the morning. It was insane. One guy, I always had a rule, guy riding shotgun and has to stay away with the driver because we're driving all night long. You get to the next city, you crash in the hotel for a few hours and go out and hit cruise control and do your job because you're just exhausted. But there were some long days, some long nights. The minor leagues, it's a grind for sure. I think just like any sports, it's when you want to get to the top and get to that dream spot. But to get there, it's always hard and tough, and you're grinding it out in the minor leagues. And, I did, I think, fully 11 years in the minor leagues. I got my big league look after like 7 years, so I started working some games. But 11 full years in the minor leagues. A lot of them are up and down. But, so it was a grind for 11 years. But I was pod deep. This is what the career I wanted to do. And, my wife, my family was all behind me. So they just kept on pushing, and yeah, I got to get to the MLB. It was good.
Yeah. Now, speaking of that, your wife, congratulations. You guys are somewhat, new parents. You guys have a boy, Jax. He's 6 months old.
Yeah, correct. 6 months old, be 7 months on the 14th there. So yeah, it's being home here in this COVID times has been super cool for me. Get to see him grow up. It's like one of those things that I would never have seen on a regular year because I'd been gone for the last 2-3 months. Yeah. They change so darn much every day. So it's really been cool to be home with him every day and my wife. So it's been awesome.
Nice. And so what's going on right now with you for baseball? I know that as of July 1st, some of the players started to report to some of the facilities. What's the mandate for you guys? How soon are you guys going to start to be able to go, or where do you even go? Do you know what's going on with COVID here? Where are you going to be able to report? Are you going to Florida? Are you going in Florida? I mean, you're going to have to get in one of those hazmat suits and outfits to be able to be safe down there, or even Texas or California with the way the outbreaks are there. Where are you off to?
It's going to be hard to get a tan with one of those suits on, I guess. But worst part is once I shave this mustache, I'm going to be a white, like, I look like I'm another white.
Oh, man.
No, but it's just, it's really unfolding quickly. Now that, the commissioner has said there's going to be a season, there's still a lot to unfold. And, what their plan is, I think it was just kind of what's in the media right now is they're going to start like modified spring trainings in all 30 cities. So every team is going to be out of their home ballparks. They're just going to have a lot of inter-squad games. Then the last like 2 or 3 days, they'll have they might meet up. Again, it's still unfolding. I don't even know this. This is like nothing to be that I'm squealing news because I really don't even know. But let's say hypothetically, the Red Sox and Yankees might meet up the last 3 days and have a game against each other just to get some live pitching against different teams. And then we're just going to go down to those modified spring trainings. We're going to be assigned to looks like a field. Again, we haven't yet. It's still a lot to be unfolded. And then we'll get some time in and see some pitches, get to see, their new live BP or live games, inter-squad games. So it's going to be like a game feel for us just to kind of, we pretty much have done 2 off seasons. We did an off season of like 4 or 5 months, went down spring training for 3 weeks, and we're down another off season for like 3-4 months. So we need to go out and see some pitches. It's not like it's not like riding a bike. Well, it is, but it's a little shaky at first. So you got to go back there and see those pitches, and they're coming at you. But then once you get a couple behind the plate, you start to get the field again. That's
pretty crazy, yeah. Hey, do you have a favorite team?
No, totally biased, man. You can't have a team. It's just one of those things. Like you're on the field. You have a favorite ref out there. You chumming up some ref. It just doesn't have the way. Like it's a working relationship. So no. And
is that in the handbook? You cannot establish that you have a favorite
team? It's just part of the profession, though. Like you want to be as biased as possible. We're out there to do our best dang job out there, and if you have I think it skew your opinion, and maybe I don't know if you're a diehard fan and it just wouldn't be a good look either. So no, honestly, I've never really have a favorite team. Ever have. Just kind of go out there and just do my job. Go to work every day.
Well, how about this? Since you don't have a favorite team, and that is a biased opinion, if you do, I don't want you to get in trouble for swaying calls. How many bad calls have you made over your career?
You want to? Well, in my opinion, none. I've made no. They are all right. And the video review might tell me differently, but no, it's part of the job. We're humans out there. We're gonna miss some calls. There's some calls that we get right, some calls some get wrong. But the good thing about replay we have now, we can fix them. But in my little head right now, I don't miss calls.
I've always thought that about like umpires and referees and stuff, because most of the time in any sport, once you make a call, whether it's wrong or right, you got to ride it out and look somebody in the face and just go, "That was the right damn call." Right?
You have a defense side, like, man, I booted the crap out of that.
Yeah. Last night Charleston came over and I was showing some clips of that there's a website out there that it's called closecallsports.com where they have an umpire ejection fantasy league. Did you know that?
Well, yeah, it's a hot thing nowadays. Like the umpire. I don't know. I don't follow much of that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's some people that like. I'm sure it's a lot of like amateur umpires follow it, or like even like college umpires and stuff. But yeah, they have like guys like on drafting umpires, I guess, and like the more ejections and stuff you get right, you get points. And I guess I don't know, does a guy get a trophy at the end? I don't know.
But I was showing Charleston, we're going that, and we're going over some of your ejections, and when you threw out the Baltimore pitching coach last year in Boston, and you're at first base and able to do that, and just it's amazing. We'll get into a little bit of a segment that we'll have towards the end here and to do that. But speaking of throwing out, but I wanted to ask you a few things about baseball. This year with baseball, I think I'm a huge baseball fan, and I'm a huge Yankees fan. We got Yankees paraphernalia all over the place here in Charleston. I love to be able to go to my Yankees games in New York and all over. With what happened last year with everything, kind of the controversy with against the Yankees, fucking Astros, cheaters, bastards, son of a bitches. But
really feel about that.
How do you think that's going to come to play with with this year coming up with I think COVID in a way took away a little bit of it, because I know the fans previous were livid at the fact that, that the Astros were caught cheating, and the fact that for me as a baseball fan, I was livid that Manfred didn't do much, in my opinion, to be able to kind of give the proper punishment. But do you think the players are going to be able to take this into their own hands with those Astros? And how have you guys been instructed in regards to handling that situation?
That's a great question. And I don't know what's going to go on these players' heads. Baseball is a game that people a lot of times don't forget about this kind of stuff. So it's definitely in the back of our heads anytime, not just with the Astros, in any game, like throwing situations are a part of baseball.
Getting plunked on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. A guy slides into second, cleats up, 3 innings before, he might wear it in the back or something, there's, or he could wear it in the back 3 games down the road. You don't even know. Like they try to do it very sneakily, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't really know what's going to happen. Throwing situations are a scary thing. These guys throw super incredibly hard. As an umpire, it opens me up too, because these guys are throwing inside, and the guy could hit him, could hit me. So it's, the catcher's not catching those ones. So, and that's my line of defense is right there. That guy in the mid.
Catcher.
And so I really don't know what's going to happen. I guess this season's going to, when it unfolds, and definitely we're on high alert. It's, we've been, we do not need to be told. We just, as you could read the media, there's a lot of guys that are unhappy with what's going on. So it's going to be something that we got to use our training and our judgment to see if, if they're throwing these guys, or maybe a slider just got away and hit him. You get to kind of read the feel and see what happens. But it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. And as an umpire, that's part of our job, and we're going to regulate it the best we can to see if there is repercussions.
Yeah.
But hopefully there isn't. It's like I said, it's a scary thing. These guys throw really hard, and these guys, they have helmets on and stuff, but they throw so hard you can't get out of the way that quick.
Yeah.
It's like Charleston running at you, man. And that's like lightning fast, and he gets getting better with age. He's just getting faster with age. Those old linemen are like, man, what's going on with this guy? Like this game is, this guy's supposed to be getting older, not stronger, faster.
Yeah. Hey, it tends to happen that way sometimes. If it's one sport that I know I'm terrible at, it's probably baseball.
Well, I wasn't good at it either. That's why I'm an umpire now. I couldn't get all my life dependent on it.
Well, it's funny that Charleston admitted that, because he's been thinking about his some of the guests we had on previous, the Getzlaff brothers and Jordan Eberle and the Reeves brothers. Charleston was talking about his maybe a second career is going to go into be an NHL hockey player after his football days are done, and after he's accomplished the all-time sack leader and doing that. But this is the first time I've heard him say that he sucks at baseball.
This is probably the only sport that I'll admit that you know what, this ain't meant for me, because I've stood at the plate before, and I've went to, I think it was the Red Dogs. What was the team called? Red Dogs.
The Red Sox here in Regina, or no?
Is it Okotoks?
Yeah, and then in the Western Major Baseball League. I don't know what the Okotoks has a team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there before, and just playing around. It's a charity softball, slow pitch. I'm cool with slow pitch. You know,
Oh yeah.
as long as it slow it down for me and it's floating in the air like that, I'll crush those. But I got into a batting cage with one of the little junior players who was a pitcher and said, "Throw me some heat, throw me a fastball, see if I can hit it." And when I say I heard the ball coming from a mile from the pitch, as soon as it left his hand, I heard the ball coming. And I was looking like, no, I can't do that. I ain't even want to swing at it because I felt like he was gonna hit me, and I was like, no, I'm good. I can't play this sport.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, Stu. Charleston is not going to be in the MLB anytime soon and be able to do that. So
I even been to Ballers here before. I've yet to hit a ball at Ballers. I've been multiple times, and I've yet to hit a ball.
So
I couldn't do it either. So I'm with you on that one. Not happening.
Speaking of that, then, Stu, who's been some of the guys that you've come up with, who's really impressed you? I know you can't have bias towards a team, right? But who are some of the guys that you've seen in your time in the MLB and in the minors where you've probably, gone the same path as these guys, gone from the single A to double A to triple A to now the majors, that every time you see him on the field, you kind of sit back and go, damn, that guy's a hell of a ball player. Damn, this guy's, he's, Derek Jeter, damn.
Right.
Something like that.
No, yeah, there's, all these guys in all these professional sports, these guys are freak athletes. And these guys are talented individuals. There's no doubt about it. There's a select few of these guys that can do that. Like you're saying, Charleston, like to hit a ball just going 70, 80 miles an hour in a batting cage is tough enough. These guys are hitting sliders that are, fastballs that are going 105. These guys are they're just freak athletes for sure. And, and I did come up with a lot of these guys in the minor leagues. One of the biggest names right now, Mike Trout, I had in the minor leagues, had him in double A, and you see him then you're like, this guy's the real deal. Like he's just a talented individual. He's just has every tool in his bag to, and to be successful. And he is. He's by far one of the better players in this game or ever played on the field. So you definitely, there's some guys that separate themselves, but as a pool itself, in Major League, these guys are talented. And, I did grow up a lot went to the minor leagues with the Royals. It seemed like every year I had the same, same teams in my, going from skipping from league to league when I was going up and down, going up in the minor leagues. And the Royals were one that I had. And so it was the Mike Moustakas when he still played, the Eric Hosmers, the Salvador Perez. And, these guys, we had them in A-ball all the way through to double A, triple A, and now I see them in the major leagues. But, you definitely see them grow. And, you thought they were good in the minor leagues. Man, these guys are, how can they get any better? And then they get to the big leagues and these guys are just good. They're just absolutely incredible athletes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And people do that. I wanted to ask you, one of the funniest stories that I've heard in a while, about some of your other colleagues was the story about Joe West. Joe West has been an umpire for a while. He was at Charleston. I don't know if you heard this story, but Joe West is, how long has he been umping for? About 30 years, 35 years?
42 in the major leagues, I believe it is. Like he's been umpiring longer than I was even in a twinkle in my dad's eye, man. That guy's got some time, and he's an incredible human being, though. He's just, I love stepping on the field with him. He's incredible. He's awesome.
Oh, I bet it would just be entertaining. So Charleston, they go to a restaurant and they finish off doing a game, or maybe this is on the day off, but they go to a restaurant in Minneapolis, and the waiter recognizes them and the crew that comes in. So what does the waiter do? He goes and he gives Joe West a menu, but it's in Braille. And people do that. To be able to do that. Anyway, I thought that was one of the funniest stories to be able that I've heard about that. But have you heard any of the funniest stories, being an umpire? Who are some of the fun umpires to hang around with, or that you sit there when you get into a room with some of these guys, you're like, man, this is awesome? Or who can tell the best stories about, probably like Joe West would probably tell some stories of, some great players like Pete Rose, or some of the things that happened back in the day, or things like that.
Yeah, there's so many characters, just like a locker room of football. Like you got your just chill guys, you got your storyteller guys, you got your guys that are always pulling pranks on you. You're scared to go in your locker. You don't know what's going to happen because they got pictures of them doing, all sorts of crazy things. And you're like, and of course you're going to pull them out after you're done putting your, chest protector on and, or something like that. It's just like, there's a ton of guys, but like you said, a guy like Joe West, who's got, 42 years in the major leagues, plus he did the minor leagues. That guy's been in baseball for a lifetime, and the stories he has, and he's got such a cool background. He's a country music singer. He's like has records, and so like, oh yeah, like yeah. So like he sings a lot about baseball and he has country music, so he's, and like anybody who's been around in the major league for 42 years, if you're on his crew and you're in St. Louis or wherever, the guy's been through these cities 1,000 times. So he's a very recognizable guy. Yeah. And said, they all have like their spots, their favorite restaurants, favorite pubs and stuff. So, especially if it's one of those bartenders or, like a waiter that's probably one of Minneapolis, maybe knew him for a long time. So, like you get to see the same people and the stories they have. And, Joe has stories about country music singers and stuff that he used to, work with, and like you said, like the old baseball player. So there's a ton of those guys and characters, but, I just, a lot of these guys are just characters, just like in any locker room. You get 4 guys in the locker room. I know it's not as much as the football team, but you get 4 guys in the locker room busting each other up, and you're playing cards. Card tables are getting flipped, throwing cards at each other. You think somebody's cheating or something, there's always someone going on. There's always shenanigans for sure. But
awesome.
It's a stressful job. So for us to keep it light and have fun and and just tell stories and shoot the crap, but it's good.
Yeah,
that's pretty fun. That's pretty cool. And it's only 4 guys that travel at a time.
Yeah, so it'll be 4-man crew. Majority of the year be the same 4 guys. We have vacation time. There's sometimes guys get injured. Then a AAA guy will come fill that spot. One of the minor leaguers going up and down. They'll fill it up. But there's always 4 guys on a crew, 4 guys on the field. So.
Nice.
I see when you got your uniform on, you look kind of buff, man. You got shoulder pads on or something like that underneath. Like what's that uniform?
I don't know if you recognize that I got some weights downstairs that I've been plugging away during COVID. So
okay.
I know I'm not my football weight anymore. I've kind of had to lean down a little bit, but yeah. But I throw some iron around a little bit here and there.
All right.
And when we get to the backyard and I show you that rip move, I'll tell you, you'll probably feel his biceps and shoulders a little bit more. But
you got to look intense for the players and the coaches when they try to run up in your face. How tall are you?
6'3".
Woo! 6'3", about what? 210?
Back in my prime days, about 210. TV puts on an extra 10 pounds. We'll just tell you that.
I think this is the first time I've ever heard an umpire say that he's worked out, because I've seen some of the pictures of Joe West. That guy hasn't touched a weight in his many, many years. And some of the other guys, they were known for being a little bit on the heavier side and partaking in a few soda pops as well.
Well, yeah, but another story about Joe West, like he was a college quarterback at, I believe, Elon, and he has like broken records at that school.
Really?
Like, in that division. Like he was a college quarterback, so like. Back in his day, like, there's film on this too. Like he's got, this guy's got like the resume of like the craziest thing ever. Like country music singer, Elon quarterback breaking records, umpire for 40 some years. Like this guy's got it all going on, man. He's the best. Like, you should Google some of his quarterbacking thing, and I've seen some pictures. He was a quarterback, and you'll see it too. Like he's 60 some years old, 66, I believe. He still takes the baseball and he chucks it back to the guys, and he's still like, he's got it still, man. Like, I'm sure Charleston, if he was chasing after him, he'd probably just stiff arm him and just get it right off and just go get that fast.
Not a chance.
We're gonna see if we can line that up. We can get Charleston versus Joe West on the football field. See how many baseball fans are gonna be able to bet on Charleston sacking the great Joe West umpire.
Well, all right, here we'll throw another kink at it. I'll be Joe's offensive lineman.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
I'll protect my man, Joe. I promise you, Joe.
I get 2 cool points instead of 1.
Yeah, but you better be sneaky. I got a good cut block, my man. I tell you better get those hands down quick.
All right, we're gonna see if we can line this up. We'll do it for charity. I know you guys do a lot of things for charity too, so I'm gonna see what we can do to be able to line this up. So, Charleston, do you have anything else you want to ask Stu before we get into our trivia or into our challenge?
Yes. Why is it that all umpires chew bubble gum?
That's funny because I'm not superstitious, but I do seeds and bubble gum. So I'll do the first 3 innings I do seeds, and then I just throw in a big piece of bubble gum. But I don't know. I'm like, I'm gonna have a bubble blower too. So you might get like clips of me like blowing bubbles at behind first base or something. But I don't know. That's a great thing. Like if you go to every locker room, there's like these humongous tubs of bubble gum and seeds. It's just kind of like a very traditional thing, I guess. And maybe back in the day, more guys chewed tobacco, and that was kind of a thing. They wrap their leaves and stuff in gum. But yeah, no, I'm a bubble gum chewer too. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought you had a bubble gum because everybody does it. Coaches and umpires, like everyone you see, they chewing bubble gum. And I always thought it because when you get up in their face and you're yelling, it's so your breath don't stink.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like nobody.
So it's like courtesy.
Breath in the face. Like you just ate an onion sandwich. I'm gonna throw some bubble gum in, so it smells better next time when I go scream at somebody. Yeah. Exactly.
It's all courtesy. It's all courtesy.
Yeah, it's like courtesy.
It's a gentleman's game.
But I'll take it if I was a coach, I'd take it to the next level. If I get mad at somebody, take the gum out, bite an onion, and go right in his face. Right now.
Just to piss him off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's gross. No, that's not cool at all. I encourage the bubble gum.
So speaking of that, then we're going to do a little bit of thing that Charleston and I thought up. We thought it would kind of be funny. Charleston, I don't know if you know, Stu, Charleston is very competitive. In everything that he does, he's got to win or he's close to, or he says he's one of the best, or he's, like I said, the next NHL hockey player. He's the best basketball player. He's a fantastic cook, and he thinks he can outcook me in tacos, and there's no way. So we came up with this kind of challenge. We want to be able to see. We're going to put on our hats here. Charleston, you got your hat?
Always ready.
And
you know they always wear it low too, so in case somebody don't get too close to their face.
Stu, I don't know if
6 inches of bumper zone almost.
Yeah.
Matt Dean, our friend Matt Dean over at the Cathedral Social Hall set us up with these hats, and we wanted to do a Cathedral Social Hall. Who can get thrown out the quickest by a Major League Umpire, Stu Scheurwater. So what we're going to do is that we're going to have a little stopwatch. I'm going to do Charleston. Charleston, you want to go first or you want me to?
Doesn't matter.
He's not confident. It does.
Yeah, actually, I'll go first.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my stopwatch out. Stu, all you're going to have to do is that you're going to have to listen to Charleston. He's going to talk like he's a MLB manager. What team are you going to be, Charleston? You can't say Yankees because I'm going to be the Yankees.
Detroit Tigers.
Oh, yeah, Detroit boy. Okay. So you got Detroit and the Yankees playing here today. You're the home plate umpire, Stu. We're going to see. Charleston's going to come at you first. I'm going to do the stopwatch, see how quick it's going to take him to get thrown out. Then vice versa, I'm going to do the same.
Hold on, wait. Boop, boop. This is a public service announcement.
Yes.
Explicit content and language being used.
If you have any young kids, maybe take them to the next room for this part of the show, please.
Earmuffs.
All right, Stu, you ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
You don't really have much of a choice.
Yeah, you got your bubble gum in, one more onion sandwiches.
All right, Charleston, you ready? All right, and we're starting.
Hey, Stu, get over here. Who the fuck do you think you are? That ball was higher than a T-shirt at Mardi Gras. What the hell? What kind of call is that? Are you kidding me? Oh, I can't take this. I can't take this.
You can't even hit the damn ball. You can't hit the damn ball.
Horses sleep standing up. What do you think you're doing? What kind of mustache is that? You're not even allowed to have a mustache out here.
It's finally groomed. It's my man. It's finally groomed. Just because you can't hit a ball and your breast stinks like onion.
Yeah, I know. You think I didn't do that on purpose. You know what? Kiss my ass, buddy. That was bullshit.
You were already gone in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't want to get it stopping after 10 seconds. But,
no, you had to let the man vent. He must have been frustrated. If I was swinging at pitches all day, missing them by a meter, I'd be pissed off too. And so what does he do? Blame the umpire. That's what's going to happen. I can't hit the ball, so who am I going to blame? That guy behind me.
Yeah.
So Charleston, you lasted at roughly at about 46.61 seconds doing that. So not too bad. Like I said, Stu threw him out quick after he's, what the fuck? I think you said fuck, and he threw you out right there.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
Not very nice language to treat a gentleman like myself with.
So, okay, Charleston, you ready? You got your stopwatch?
Got it ready.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Stu,
Go.
what the fuck are you watching out there? My guys are fucking savages in that box. What the hell's going on? You missed 3 of those pitches out there. What the hell game are you watching?
I missed 3? How about the 13 errors you just made out there in left field? Are you kidding me? You're going to blame me?
What are you talking about?
The ball if your life depended on it.
My guys are savages. They're out there hustling every freaking at-bat, and you're out there watching. What are you watching, the Riders? Where are you from, Canada? You suck as bad as the Riders do.
Out there, you told me to suck it out of there.
Wow. As soon as I say the Riders, then I get the toss, eh?
No, you told me I suck. That's when you got the toss.
Okay. 32.1. I tried to be able to add the savages in the box comment. And
yeah, I thought that was going to come. If you're a Yankees guy, you'd like the savages and hitting the bats on roofs, because that's
I know that's hard work, man. I worked up a sweat doing that.
That was awesome. Well, that was our Cathedral Social Hall. Who can get tossed out quicker by the MLB umpire, Stu. Stu, thanks a lot for coming on the show. We appreciate it. How I guess so you're just gonna sit back, wait, and see when you're gonna be.
Yeah, we'll see how this unfolds, and I think they're projecting the 23rd, 24th season start for a 60-game schedule. So yeah, that's we got not much time for that, but we'll be ready and waiting when it's going to give. I have a weird feeling with empty stadiums and stuff, but you know what? I think the world needs a little bit of sports and someone to take their mind off what's going on, and so I think as if baseball, if we could do it, we're going to do our part, try to stay as healthy, stay out of it's going to be lockdown for us, I'm sure. Like we're going to be. Biodome almost, again, it's all going to unfold in our protocols. But if we can do our part and stay healthy and stay away from, trying to get COVID and just lock down in our hotels, go to the field, and so we can give some entertainment, that's what we're going to do. Yeah,
that's awesome. We do appreciate it. I know that Charleston always ends the show with this famous quote. So I'll leave it to Charleston, and then.
Hey, Stu, do you have any social media, anything that somebody can come find you or post and tell you what kind of bad calls you made?
I'm not a social media kind of guy, man. And honestly, that's exactly why I don't have it.
Would you like to release your phone number then so somebody can text you and let you know how many bad calls you made?
Yeah. 306-555-17.
That ain't enough numbers, buddy.
Yeah. No, there's a reason. I like my family how it is. I don't need death threats. There's some hardcore people out there. And we've had some umpires that have had like cops outside their house because there's been threats sent at them, like just because you call a guy out. There's some people that take this game serious. So yeah, I just have social media to keep my family safe. They don't need to know where I'm at or who I am. Stuff like
that. Fair enough. But the show is called Better with Age. And the reason it's called Better with Age because many things get better with age, not just that mustache on your face, but there's cheese, there's wine, there's liquor, there's all kind of booze and leather and stuff that gets better with age, like baseball gloves. But the most important thing of them all that gets better with age are friendships. And I'm glad you came on this show and showed a little friendly umpire love to the rest of our fans and the people out there to show that there's a softer side to you guys other than the stone face and the glasses and the chewing bubble gum the whole time. So I appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. No, it's been fun, and I can't wait to be strap up the cleats in the backyard and I show you a trick or two.
Oh, man.
We're looking forward to it. Thanks, Stu. All the best to Danielle and Jax, and we'll be in touch soon.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Okay.
Thanks.
Cheers.